Welcome to this U.S. Commercial Service Market Brief. Today we're in Santiago, Chile, with the beautiful Andes Mountains in the background. Chile is one of the great political and economic success stories of our time. And now there is the US-Chile Free Trade Agreement, an agreement that should increase trade between the two countries by 30% and add billions of dollars to the GNP of both countries. And what's more, Chile is a great platform for entering the rest of the market in the larger region. There's even a word for it. It's called La Plataforma. And we'll be learning a lot more about that, as well as specific opportunities for how U.S. companies can enter this market. Come on with me and let's explore the Chilean market.
Perfect. Excellent. I think that it's the best thing President Lagos has done.
Obviously, it will be positive. We already see the benefits. There are already goods coming in with zero tariffs. First, we have to see in time what will happen. There is a lot of fear among the farmers. We have to see the positive side of it. That's Chile's hope. The more open to other countries, the better for the economy.
Professor Brownfield, of all the countries in the world, why should the U.S. business person, especially the small and medium-sized person, choose Chile?
Here's what Chile offers. Chile is a country which made tough, fundamental reform decisions in the 1970s and the 1980s. And as a consequence, in many ways, they are 20 years ahead of much of the rest of Latin America and the region in terms of their legal structure, the infrastructure, how their legal system works, the rules and procedures for an American businessman who wants to do business in Chile. Add to that the fact that at the first of the year, in 2004, the US-Chile Free Trade Agreement came into effect.
Chile has free trade agreements with many countries around the world. What's so special about the agreement with the United States?
The Free Trade Agreement basically offers to the American businessman seeking to do business in Chile, in essence, a set of rules that are transparent, access to markets that he did not or she did not previously have, and a system, a structure to resolve the inevitable disputes, controversies, disagreements in a manner that is both transparent and free. We call it a state-of-the-art free trade agreement, meaning, in essence, that it is as close to the perfect free trade agreement that we might wish we could have with any country in the world today.
U.S. business people are rightly concerned about the theft of their intellectual property. Are there provisions in the FTA that will help prevent that?
The objective is to ensure that American business doing intellectual property business in Chile would have fundamentally the same protections in Chile that they would have in the United States of America. It is one of the areas, to be frank, where the Chilean government has had to commit to raising their standards to this level, has had to commit to raising their standards to the level that the most advanced countries in the world now accept as fundamental protection for intellectual property rights. We've got still some work to do in that regard, but my message to the American businessman who is involved in intellectual property is the climate in Chile is getting better, and you have legal protections through the free trade agreement today that you did not have before this agreement came into effect.
How effective is the U.S. Embassy, and your office in particular, in nudging Chilean officials to make these changes?
Doug, I think we're actually pretty good. And in fact, if you were to look at our overall track record, you would find that the overwhelming majority more than 90% perhaps, of trade or investment disputes, which are inevitable, as you know, in any country or within any country, investment and trade disputes involving U.S. and Chilean companies or government entities are resolved to mutual satisfaction. And I think a big part of the reason for that is, as I said earlier, in Chile, the basic institutions work.
I'm a salesperson in the United States, and I'm selling computer peripherals, and I would like to come to Chile. Can you give me a sense of what kind of effect the lower tariffs under the FTA and also the currency conversion rates would have on the pricing of my products?
But let's take a look at your example. You're describing, in essence, computer technology. That is one of the areas in terms of market access where the tariff rates dropped to zero as of the 1st of January of this year. That is part of the 85 to 88% of all bilateral trade between Chile and the United States whose tariff rates dropped to zero when the free trade agreement went into effect. Second, and that's the free trade agreement that offers that advantage, if you will, that advantage over any other country that does not at this time have a free trade agreement with Chile. Meanwhile, the free market has offered another fairly substantial advantage. The United States dollar has depreciated nearly between 20 and 25% against the Chilean peso over the last 3 to 4 months. Now, this isn't particularly good news for someone who is paid in dollars and living in Chile, like me, but it's exceptionally good news for an American business that is trying to export its product to Chile. Why? Because of simple common sense and fourth grade math will tell you the product presumably, which was constructed in the United States and based upon a dollar economy, has just dropped 25% or so in the price that can be offered to the Chilean consumer. I would say this would probably be a very good time to do it. I would say that you would be arriving in Chile to find a country, a community, and a business sector that is extremely excited about the free trade agreement and is very anxious to find American partners.
That was Ambassador William Brownfield. And now we're going to learn about the nuts and bolts of doing business in this market. And for that, we'll hear from Senior Commercial Service Officer Mac Tadeo. Can you give us an example